Dear students, let us start the discussion on today's newspaper, that is 20th March 2017. The first article, The Yogi and Magic of Numbers. Here the article is about the electoral democracy and the constitutional democracy, how they are failing to reconcile with each other. Now, we can say democracy has two parts, electoral part, substantive part. The substantive part of democracy is being our constitutional perspective. It talks about the rights of the people, equality, concerns of justice, fairness, etc. The electoral part of the democracy, it may convert the democracy into majoritarianism. As President Pranab Mukherjee was saying, in democracy the biggest challenge is to protect the people against the majoritarianism. So electoral democracy is a play of numbers. So because of this, the democracy can convert itself into majoritarianism. It is not about religious majoritarianism, anything, racial majoritarianism. So if you take United States of America, there's a kind of a racial majoritarianism or anti-immigration in Europe. Everything is the tyranny of the numbers of the democracy during elections. In this context, what is happening in India? Let us see a historical perspective. Dr. B.R. Ambedkar has clearly stated democracy is a top dressing in India. The reason is Indian society is inherently unequal, inherently undemocratic. So in this context, we have developed the democratic institutions over a period of time, and concerns of justice, gender equality, protection of Dalits, minorities, everything is been deepened over a period of time. Free speech, dissent also has got their due space. But over a period of time, this fundamental question of the electoral majority or numbers dictating the democracy still holds good for India. So, the present transformation of democratic politics, they have two important concerns. One is religious polarization, and the first past the post system is providing for a chance to this religious polarization. So previously we have caste polarization. So now religious polarization is converting the debate into majority versus minority. So we need to take a re-look into the first past the post system. And the second is weakening of representativeness. So a democracy functions well when the legislative houses are represented by different interests, different sections, different religions, etc. If legislative institutions are dominated by one group, the discussion or debate gets polarized. So, the relative numbers of Dalits, minorities, these are decreasing in our representative houses. These are the two concerns which are expressed. This article has been written in a sarcastical note. Probably you may get deviated when you read this article. So, but essentiality of this article is, so the polarization of the voters on religious narrative and the weakness of the electoral democracy which can run as a tyranny of the majority. So, our objective is to protect the substantive democracy, that is constitutional democracy, and we need to maintain or bring in electoral reforms to keep check to the vagaries of the electoral democracy or electoral perspective of democracy. Making of a Sultan. This article is about the changes referendum which is going on in Turkey. If you remember this, Turkey, Mr. Erdogan, he was the prime minister before, and prime minister's office was the head of the government. Now a national referendum is on the way to convert the Turkey into a presidential system. An executive presidency is on the way. It means that the president will be the head of the government. He will also be the head of the state. He will also appoint the judges. He is the party president, that is AKP. Let us take the history of Turkey. So Mr. Ataturk, he has brought in a secular Turkey, and military is the protector of this secularism. Now AKP, it is based on liberal economics and a promise of stability and growth for the people. So it is religiously conservative and promoting Islamism. So, the majoritarianism which is running across India is also happening in Turkey. So, a secular Turkey is about to convert itself into Islamistic. And the second is Kurds are a minority. And Mr. Erdogan is very much vocal and critical about the Kurdistan movement. And their rights are being deprived. Even the liberal elements of the Kurds, these are being oppressed. So we can say it this way. So an urban voter who aspires for economic growth and opportunity is the major supporter of the AKP party. So, based on this support, if constitution is reformed, changed, the Turkey will finally convert into an executive presidency with powers, all the powers in the president's hand, with two more terms to the Erdogan. It means he will be the president till 2029. And the coup in 2016, the military coup, it has further strengthened the hands of Mr. Erdogan. So, the Turkey's position today is being described as a sultanate without a sultan, or without a sultan without a sultanate and a seat of sultan. So, it is more becoming authoritative and dictatorial. And coming to last gasp task, it is about the GST. You know that we have 5 rates in the GST as of now. And what product has to be given what rate of the tax is the question. That is 0%, 5%, 12%, 18%, 28%. These are the 5 rates of GST. Over and above that, you have taxation for the sin goods. That is cess on the sin goods like tobacco, high priced cars, etc. Now the major challenge comes up. What product has to be taxed at what rate among these? Most of the states are bound to lobby this with regard to the products they are having a strength. For example, automobiles, Tamil Nadu may lobby for a lower rate. Similarly, the cigarette industry, Telangana may lobby for it. So it means that the different rates on which products they have to be applied is a major question. It is a point of lobby for the industry and the state governments. And second is, the biggest concern to the industry will be this. So anti-profiteering clause of the GST bill. It means the GST rate changes, the people, especially the industry or business, they shall not get unduly benefited for the rate changes. So the provisions of this are not clear and it can be a worrisome point to the industry. That's what is this article talks about. Now coming to the open-ed page. So of Dera's Dynasties and Drugs, it is mostly a politically motivated article and we need not talk about that. The heckler's veto. So what is this? The powerful groups not respecting for the freedom of speech and dissent on the pretext that it may lead to law and order problem. So that is what is called as heckler's veto. Let's take if the fringe groups are taking up an issue and the established institution is not recognizing the people's right to speech or dissent, saying that it may lead to the voice and disturbance created by the fringe groups we call heckler's veto. In Indian media, this heckler's veto shall not dominate. It means the liberal voices, freedom of speech and dissent has to continue. It shall not be hijacked by the fringe groups. That is what this article talks about. So the judiciary has to be cautious to revise its instruments so that the heckler's veto do not exist or do not obstruct the freedom of speech. Now coming to news page. Tejas. Tejas is an indigenously manufactured light combat aircraft of India. It is going to replace our MiG aircrafts. MiGs are being brought from Russia. And then, so Legal Services Authority. We have National Legal Service Authority, State Level Legal Service Authority. Their major objective is to bring in access to justice. Any person who do not have affordability to access the justice, they can go for NALSA and SALSA to get the legal aid. Now, coming to larger safety net, the call for a larger safety net. So we have informal sector, more than 92% of the people are in the informal sector in India. So the social safety nets are very minimal for the informal sector. How they have to be developed? So in South Africa, there is a rights-based approach to the social safety net in the informal sector. So India is also thinking about this social safety net based on the rights based approach. It means if the social safety nets are not been provided, people can access the codes for the same. And Oracle's India pilot for startup goes global. Oracle Accelerator. So it is going to provide for a space and also connection with the venture capitalists to the startups. Now, many of the state governments are also taking up these exercises. Multinational companies starting this is a good move. So, the startup environment is bound to increase with these initiatives. If you take Telangana, T Hub, it is a startup accelerator. And Andhra Pradesh and Vizag has started a startup accelerator. Now, Oracle, Microsoft, Apple, all these are entering into the startup business. Obviously, it's going to provide for new life to the and our entrepreneurship in India. North Korea tests powerful rocket engine. Now, as Mr. Tillerson, the Secretary of State, is visiting Beijing, North Korea is provocative again. It states that it has tested a rocket that can put satellites into geostationary orbit. It means that the same rocket can be used for intercontinental ballistic missiles. And second is, there is USA China to work together on North Korea. And US repeatedly asking China to leverage its good offices to rein in North Korea. For the first time, Secretary of the State said that war against North Korea is on the table of United States of America. Now I have given you the notes. Please go through these notes. It is available at lax.in/civils-prep. Thank you very much. And the second week, we have developed this LAX weekly and it is available to you. The video is available to you on La Excellence YouTube channel and lax.in/civils-prep on the same web page. You have the YouTube channel. So you have the YouTube link. So you can read that particular small magazine where all these notes is been compiled and revise it once in a week. How the notes have to be prepared, we have started a new way. In this we are talking about, so what is the article is, in what context it is being discussed, and then we are talking about what is the question you shall ask before you start reading the article and then read the notes. This is how we are reshaping the notes soon. So obviously it will be more useful and we want you to think rather than follow the videos as they are. Thank you very much. All the best.